guys, Jacalyn here with Zenith Home Loans. Today I have joining me Holly Jaros of Denver Luxury Real Estate. Thank you for your time.
Hi. Yeah.
So today we wanted to talk a little bit about what you can do with your home equity as it pertains to investment. So why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of like your motto and how you work with investments?
Yes. Well, first of all, it's a lot easier to be a real estate investor than most people think. I am one, so it can't be that hard. And basically what I have done in the past is taken equity out of my home to put a down payment on a rental property.
Okay.
I personally like small little condos and they work well for me. And then, you want to make sure that you're getting enough rent so that that mortgage is being covered. So you're not paying the mortgage, someone else is. The HOA is being covered and you're still making a profit every month. That profit every month you can either put back in the equity that you took out of your home or pay down on the principal of the rental property. The goal being pay off the rental property as soon as possible. And then all that rent will be coming to you, and that's a supplement to your retirement.
Okay. And so how often have you done it, or have you seen other people do it where they can pick up multiple properties? Is this something I might be able to do multiple in a year? Is this kind of a more drawn out process?
It depends on how much equity you have in your home. I mean, if you have a ton, then you can maybe buy 2 properties at once. Or I've seen people kind of do 1 property a year.
Okay.
Because you can even use the equity that you gain in the rental property and take that money out of that rental property and put it towards another rental property.
Okay, so you can kind of create a domino effect.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then I've also heard of people, especially first-time homeowners, keeping their first home as a rental and then moving on to the next stage. Now, how would they do that, Jacalyn?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So a lot of clients who are on maybe the lower end of the spectrum when it comes to purchase price, so a little bit more comfortable monthly payment is easier to translate into a rental property. Because obviously if I've got a $5,000 monthly payment, it's hard to get somebody to pay more than that for a rental. So a lot of clients will buy that first home with the intent of holding on to it long term and just wanting to convert it into a rental property down the road. So there's basically 2 ways that you can do that. So you can leave all the equity in that property if you've got enough, because as a primary purchase transaction, you can do a minimum down payment, which is 5% after you've already owned a property. So you don't need to tap into that equity. So you can move on to your next primary residence, just put down 5% and convert that current, we call it your exit home, but your current primary resident into your rental property. The other thing you can do is do a cash out refinance on your current home, or do a home equity line of credit and use that equity to put down on the new property. And you can just keep doing that. And I've actually had clients in the past who will buy a house every 1 to 2 years and just keep collecting real estate essentially and kind of turn it into this little real estate portfolio. I've also seen clients just do it the one time and they're like, yeah, I don't want to be more than a landlord than on this one property. It's really kind of however you want to do it. And then you figure out long term, okay, what do we do with the property? As long as you've got equity and somebody else is making that mortgage payment, to your point, you're going to keep creating equity. And if you're turning a profit, what I like to do on my own rental property that I have, which was my first house, and I haven't touched it in 12 years, is all of the extra profit that we make in the house, I just put it back into it because it's a little bit older. There's a couple things that need to be renovated and I don't want to write a check for that personally. So I just leave the profits in that rental account so that I'm using the rents that they're paying me, the overage, to pay for the improvements on the home, which is a really great way to do it. Because that's one thing I think maybe some renters or people who want to turn properties into rentals maybe don't think about, is making sure you've got like some reserve or emergency funds, because now you're the landlord, whereas you used to be able to call the landlord to fix the water heater on New Year's Eve when it's not working.
Yeah. And if you're scared of being a landlord, you actually could get a property manager and then you're doing nothing but cashing a check every month.
Yeah, and property management's pretty inexpensive. And what's nice about it too is you've got an expert who's kind of taking care of it as long as you hire the right company.
Exactly. And they have their own plumber and their own electrician and everything like that. So sometimes you actually save money by using a property manager because their plumber is going to charge less than a plumber that you call out of the yellow pages.
Yeah. Yeah. So bottom line is you have a bunch of different ways that you can use your equity when it comes to reinvesting in real estate. It's an excellent way to do it. You can also just take that equity of your property from the rental or from your current primary home, use it to buy the next one, and then even turn around and sell that home if you didn't want to hold on to it. Or if maybe you decided to rent for a year and you're like, maybe landlording Is that
Wasn't
a word?
your-
Maybe landlording's not really your thing, but there's still lots of opportunity out there, and
Yes.
converting your current primary is a really great way to do it.
Yes, excellent way.
So if you have questions about kind of how that process works, as far as from a qualifying perspective, reach out to me. I'm happy to kind of talk you through that. And then if you have questions about how to figure out whether the property is going to cash flow, Holly's your person.
Yes, I've been doing it for years. I've been working with investors for years. And like I said, it's easier to become a real estate investor than you think.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Let us know if you have questions.